What's going on, guys? It's Brent from Team Draw Better, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning into a very special video I have planned here. As you guys know, Justice Hunters format is right around the corner, and we're going to be introduced to 3 new decks. We have Yummy, Draco Tail, and Canine. All going to be top tier rank 1 meta decks that you're going to see all throughout the meta. But today, I have a special video for you guys because I've been cooking. I've been cooking a little bit because today, we're going to save the reveal for in the middle of the video, but today, we're working on a Yummy deck. Now, before we begin, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more if you enjoyed the video. And without further ado, guys, let's jump into my Yummy build. So, first things first, we have 3 copies of Cupsy Yummy. Now, these cards aren't out yet. These are pretty average made proxies that I made myself. So don't think I got the cards early or anything like that. These are not official cards. They're not commons. That would be insane if they were. But first things first, the effects of the Yummies. They all share this same effect. If you control a Link 1 monster or a level 2 Synchro monster, you can special summon this from your hand, and you can only special Cupsy Yummy once per turn this way. That goes for all of the Yummies. And then if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Yummy card from your deck to your hand except itself. Or if it was special summoned by a Synchro monster's effect, you can draw a card instead, and you can only use this effect of Cupsy Yummy once per turn. So this is the main starter for the Yummy portion of the deck. You normally want to see this in your hand. This is a pretty good one to have in your hand. And it's also one that you'll search off of the Cupsy Synchro, and we'll get to that in a second. But moving on, we are playing triple copies of Cookie. Now, what Cookie does, same thing, control Link 1 or level 2 Synchro, special it. This is only once per turn, but if this is normal or special summoned, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 1,000 or attack. Or if this was special by a Synchro monster's effect, you can destroy that monster instead. So this helps break your opponent's boards by summoning it off any Yummy Synchro or Synchro in general. Keep that in mind, Synchro in general. So this is a card that helps the deck go second a little bit easier because you use it to destroy your opponent's monsters. But another really good card for the deck. It's another really strong going second card. And then to round up the Yummy monsters, we have triple copies of Lollipo. Light's a little glaring, sorry. Same thing as the others. You can special if there's a Link 1 or Synchro level 2. And if this is normal or special summon, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, or if this was summoned off of a Synchro monster, you can banish it instead. So another really nice going second card. This helps get rid of any pesky cards that might be in your opponent's graveyard. Either or, by shuffling it back or by banishing it, it's still pretty good. Next, this is where we get spicy because, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my cooking class because we're getting to the other half of the deck. I present to you Yummy Mimighoul. I just want to say, ever since I saw the reveal of the Yummy cards, I instantly thought of this variant. And let me tell you, with the testing that I have done, this deck is cracked. Absolutely cracked. Because it is a seamless transition between both engines. And we'll get to that in 1 second. But we're going to go into the Mimighoul side of things now. So, starting off with 3 copies of Dragon. So if Dragon is normal or special summoned, you can search 1 Mimighoul spell or trap from deck to hand, and you also have the effect during the main phase. You have the flip effect. If this is flipped face up, destroy all face up monsters you control except Mimighouls, and give control of this to your opponent. So thing with the Mimighouls, they're going to your opponent, and once they're flipped, they'll interrupt your opponent with all sorts of pesky effects, and then you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field face down in defense. So, main starter for the Mimighoul portion of things. Seamless synergy, like I said, we will get to it. We just play 2 copies of Archfiend. Archfiend isn't really the best normal summon, but if you have 2 Mimighouls in hand, and this is one of them, then it's still really good to have. Because if this is normal or special summon, you can target change one face down monster on the field to face up attack or defense position, non-targeting. And then you can special this to your opponent's field face down during the main phase, and then if it's flipped face up, your opponent draws a card and you send a card from your hand to the graveyard. So this can really hurt because if they have a bunch of cards in their hand that they need, it's forcing them to get rid of one, so they -1. Next, we're going to the one-ofs. I play 1 armor, 1 fairy, 1 Cerberus, and 1 master. Now, the reasoning behind this, I wanted to play slime, and this list might be subject to change. I might still add slime, but we will see. The reason why I have Cerberus, armor and fairy, they're just follow-up and extenders, because if your opponent controls a monster, armor can special, and then if you control another Mimighoul monster, fairy can special to your field. Both of these can special to your field under those conditions, and then they can both special face down to your opponent's field. But the reason why we're playing Cerberus, and you'll think right away, well, Malice is bad, isn't it? True, but this is also really, really good against the mirror match, because if you're going against a yummy mirror match and you use Cerberus's effect to banish cards and special one of them to your field, and if it's a monster and it's a yummy monster, you just get to pop off for free. So that's why I chose to run Cerberus instead of Slime, to help out with the mirror match a little more, because I can tell you right now, the yummy mirror match is going to be pretty pesky. And then we do still play the 1 master. Master is pretty good for getting our flip effects up, so that's why we play him. But that's it for the monsters. So on to the spells and traps. Now, first things first, with the Yummy side again, we're playing 1 Yummy'sment minion. Yummy monsters you control gain 500 attack for each light beast monster on the field. You can only use each effect of Yummy's minion once per turn. If you control a Link 1 monster, you can target a level 1 Yummy monster in your grave, special summon it. And then if this card's in your graveyard, you can target 2 Yummy monsters in your grave or banishment, place them and this card on the bottom of the deck in any order. So, recursion. This deck has recursion. This archetype, I should say. And it's really strong, because you can just keep out grinding your opponent and just beat them at anything that they try to do. Next, we play the Going Second field spell, Yummy'sment Akraki. If you synchro summon a light beast synchro monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. And then if a face-up monster you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 Yummy monster from your deck. And then same thing as the other one, if this card's in your grave, target 2 Yummy monsters in grave or banishment, place them on the bottom, and yeah, recursion. You can only use each effect once per turn. So these are 2 really strong field spells. One's for extending on your turn, and the other's for disrupting on your opponent's turn with the synchro summon destruction effect. But next we play 2 Yummy Surprise. Now this card, you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Yummy Surprise once per turn. You can target 2 light beasts you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, return them to the hand. You can special summon a Yummy monster from your hand or grave, but it can't attack directly. And you can return 1 field spell from your face-up field or graveyard to the hand. Then you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand face-up to your field. So, this is good for the Yummy things, but it's also really good for Mimighoul, because that last piece of text, return 1 field spell from your face-up field or grave to the hand. Then you can place 1 Yummy field spell from your hand or face up on your field. So, you can recur Mimighoul Dungeon with this. And the activation of Mimighoul Dungeon is not once per turn. So if you finish extending with Minion, and you have Surprise off of, say, Cupsy or something of the sort, then you can activate that 3rd effect, add Mimighoul Dungeon back to your hand, and then place a Yummy field spell in the field zone. But then you can just activate Dungeon and then use the effect of Minion or Crocky, whichever one, to shuffle back. So that part is really, really strong alone, but there's more to come with that, because now, like the monsters, we're moving on to the Mimighoul half. We're playing triple Dungeon. Dungeon is crucial because of the synergy. So Mimighoul monsters you control that were not normal or special summon gain attack equal to their original defense. Any player who controls a face-down monster can't normal summon monsters, nor declare an attack with a monster that was special summoned this turn. And during your main phase, you can add one Mimighoul monster from deck or grave to hand, and you can only use this effect of Dungeon once per turn. So, like I said, the activation of Dungeon is not once per turn. You can activate it as many times as you want, you just can only search once. Really strong card because, like I said, we will get to the main synergies lie with the extra deck, and we're going to get there. So, 2 copies of Maker. Maker's just to get some more bodies on board, because you can reveal 2 flip monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks one for you to special summon to their field and face down defense, and you add the other to your hand. Then you can special 1 Mimighoul from your hand. And then if your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your grave, target a face-down monster your opponent controls, change it to face-up attack or defense position, and you can only use 1 Maker effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this is just to get additional bodies out on board. It's still a really good card for the Mimighoul side. It also helps out the Yummy side, because all these monsters are level 1, with the exception of Maker, or Master, sorry. But yeah, next, we're moving on to non-engine. We play triple thrust, 1 talent. It's still Mimighoul, so these are still free, and this next format might be really heavy on board breakers, so these are pretty crucial. These are pretty crucial for the deck, especially going second, because, yeah, next format is lining up to be really reliant on board breakers. But moving on, we're playing 1 Called by the Grave just to help our plays go through. We're playing 1 Sales Ban, and the reason why is because we do play Thrust, and we do play Mimighouls. So if we have a Mimighoul on our opponent's field, we can Thrust add instead of set, because our opponent controls a monster, even though it's our monster. So we play Sales Ban, and this helps with going first and going second, because you can declare 1 card name, and for the rest of the turn, your opponent can't activate cards or the effects of cards with the same original name as that declared card, and the same restrictions apply to you, but for the rest of this duel instead of the turn. So, and you can only activate 1 Sales Ban per turn. So this can help with going first or second, because if you start with Mimighouls and your opponent, say, Ashes, Dragon, or something of the sort, and you have Thrust or Talent, or, yeah, Thrust, you can search this off a Thrust when you have a Mimighoul on their field, and depending on if you really hurt to Droll or Nib or anything like that, you can just go Sales Ban, declare Droll and Lockbird or Nibiru, and you're protected for the rest of your turn. So that's why we play this, and going second, it's really good too, because if your opponent applies or establishes a board, you can Thrust, search Sales Ban, call whatever pesky card they might have, like in their grave or on their field, and they just can't activate it unless they chain to it. You're forcing the out. So this is a really good card for the deck. First or second, it really helps your plays go through. And then we're moving on to the traps. I play just 1 Mimighoul Room. Room at 1 feels fine, but I might put it up to 2 because the card is still crazy paired with Dungeon. You can special summon a Mimighoul from your hand or deck to your field, or in face-down defense position to your opponent's field. Then you can Book of Moon a monster on the field. And then you can banish this card from grave, target any number of Mimighoul cards you control, return them to hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn, and only once that turn. So this might get bumped up to 2 because the card is still really crazy, but I'm still figuring out ratios, like really trying to fine-tune them. This is just like the rough draft, but this version of the deck feels really good, but there's still a little tweaking I can do. So 1 copy of Room, 1 Imperm, because we can set it off a thrust. That's fine. And then I'm main decking a D barrier because I feel like D barrier is going to go crazy next format. I really do, because all the main meta decks, all their extra deck monster types are in D barrier. We have Xyz for K9, Synchro for Yummy, and Fusion for Dracotail. So flip D barrier, that could be a turn ender depending. The only deck you really have to be careful with this is Vanquish Soul K9, because the Vanquish Soul side of the deck doesn't really care about the extra deck. So other than that, I feel like main decking one of these to set it off a thrust is pretty good. But that's it for the spells and traps. We're going to move on to the hand traps. Not too many, because like I said, it feels like this next format's going to be really board breaker reliant. So we're playing triple Nib, triple Ash, and triple Droll. Droll is really going to be strong still because it just stops your opponent from touching the deck. Ash can stop things yet. You can stop the Mulch Armies, but Nibiru is going to kind of go crazy because, like I said, board breaker format, and Nib is really good at clearing boards. Really good. So yeah, that's about it for the hand traps. So we're going to move on to the extra deck. And now this is where I start really explaining why there's so much synergy, because we're going to start with the Xyz monsters. We only play 3. We play 1 giant Mimighoul. Now this is the extender for the Mimighoul side, but if you notice, if this will focus, I apologize, 2 level 1 monsters. Everything in the deck, with the exception of Master, is a level 1. So that's one seamless transition between the Yummies and Mimighouls. Giant on summon effect searches any Mimighoul card, and then its other effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, and then target face-up cards on the field up to the number of face-down monsters your opponent controls, destroy them, and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. So this is going to be a really good time card, and I'll show you why. Moving on, we're playing 1 Throne. Throne is just if we need additional removal, because we can summon out Master with it, and then equip it to Master, and then non-targeting return cards from field to hand up to the number of materials. So just another removal card to have, and it also boosts up Master pretty significant, so it can push for an OTK. We play Ripplebird. Ripplebird is crazy for Mimighouls because it's not once per turn. You can detach 1 material from this card, target a monster on the field, change its battle position, and then while all monsters you control are in attack position, they gain 500 attack. So this can also help push for game, because if all your monsters are in attack, and even depending on what you have, if you have all Yummies or Mimighouls, Ripplebird in attack position and everything else is in attack position alongside either the Mimighoul field spell or the Yummy field spell, things are getting boosted twice. 500 attack by Ripplebird and 500 and additional 500 attack stacked with the Yummy spell or dungeon, giving the Mimighouls attack equal to their defense. So really strong card in the deck, honestly. I really like it. I was debating cutting it for another Herald of Arclight, but I really like Ripplebird. Next, Lynx. Playing 1 Gravity Controller, and this is a weird card. You're probably thinking, why is this in here? Well, 1 non-link monster in the extra monster zone. So if we summon Giant Mimighoul, we can link it off into Gravity Controller, and now we have a link 1 to go into all of our Yummy plays. We don't really care about any of the effects of Gravity Controller. It's more so just a summoning to start triggering our Yummies. So, but it does have a semi-useful effect. At the start of damage step, if this battles an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone, you can return both that opponent's monster and this card into the deck, non-targeting. So that's pretty nice, but not really our main concern. Other link ones, we play 1 Almirage, just to... All of our monsters are 1,000 or less attack at first, so Almirage is a decent one. It helps protect us, because We can tribute it and then target a monster we control. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. And then when a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle, when this is engraved, you can special this card. So this is just more protection, and it's also a Link 1. We play 1 Anima. Again, another Link 1 to go into our yummies, but also help clearing our opponent's board as well. 1 Link Spider. Nibbing mid-yummy combo is the biggest mistake you can make. Do not do that, because they will link off the nib token into Link Spider and they will keep going. Just a bit of advice for you guys. So this is just another Link 1 to help go into the yummy synchros, because this helps us push through Nibiru like no problem, literally no problem. And then we play 2 copies of Yummy Snatchy. So this one is another extender, because if this is special summon, you can place a Yummy Field spell from your hand or deck face up on your field, and you cannot link summon Link 3 or higher Link monsters for the rest of the turn. And you can only use this effect once per turn and once per chain. During the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you can pay 100 life. Immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using Yummy monsters, using monsters you control, including a Yummy. So this helps get out all the synchros very easy, and play on your opponent's turn. Moving on to the synchros, we play 2 Cupsy Yummy Way. This is another extender because, and all the synchros are like this. They share this effect for this synchro summon. You can treat 1 Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner, and you can only use each of the following effects of Cupsy Yummy once per turn. If this is synchro summon, you can add 2 Yummy monsters from deck to hand, and then discard a card. And when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So that's an effect they all share as well. So I'm not going to read that with the rest. We have Lollipo. Lollipo's effect on summon, you can special 2 Yummy monsters from grave but negate their effects. Cookie. This is like the best synergistic card for Mimighoul and Yummy, because when this card is summoned, synchro summoned, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, change them to face-down defense position. Under Mimighoul Dungeon, that is huge. Absolutely huge, because it puts them back into the dungeon lock, and they're also short on monsters to link and synchro summon into. They can still fuse, but they're still under the dungeon lock. So, really good card for both engines. And then to wrap up the extra deck, I play 1 Martial Metal Marcher. Say that 100 times. But if this is synchro summon, you can target 1 tuner in your grave, special in defense, but negate its effects. This is to help climb into Herald of Arclight, because we summon back one of the Yummy synchros, and then we can special another Yummy main deck monster, and then immediately synchro with Martial Metal Marcher into Herald of Arclight. And Herald of Arclight is an Omni Negate. So this, I feel like I really tried to craft this deck as best I could, because I had a vision as soon as I seen the Yummy cards, and I wanted to attempt to replicate it. So, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Something a little different for you, because this is a deck I came up with on my own. I haven't seen it anywhere else, like anywhere on the internet. No videos, nothing. So this is the deck I'm going to be playing next format for sure, because it is crazy. If you guys want to see combo videos, stay tuned, because I am more than likely going to be posting one with just how crazy and synergistic this deck is. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe as always. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later.